If you want to score 130 plus on Duolingo English Test, you must follow these 5 strategies. And today I'm going to share my experience on which I scored 135 plus on Duolingo English Test, on real Duolingo English Test. So keep watching till the very end. Assalamu alaikum, Sohail Aziz here and welcome back to another video. I have taken the Duolingo English test for the second time, and this time I scored 135 out of 160 on Duolingo English test. So you can see my result right here. As you can see, I have taken the test on December 18, 2023. For the first time I took the test on September 22nd and I scored 130, and I have made a complete video about that one. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it right here. Let's move on to the strategies that you must follow in order to score 135 on Duolingo English test. Let's go. Alright guys, so before jumping into the first strategy, I just want to let you know that I'm super close to 3,000 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you so much guys for subscribing, and I'm planning to create a Q&A video. So if you guys have any sort of questions related to me about the Duolingo English test or anything else, just write down your questions in the comments and I'll try to answer your question in the Q&A video. Now let's start the video. Okay, so strategy number 1, familiarize yourself with the test format. And why I have put this in my top 5 strategies is because that if you understand the question types, if you understand the test format, then you can prepare yourself accordingly with ease. And that's why I think before going for the real test, you must familiarize yourself with the test format. And the best way to do so is to go to the official Duolingo website and take a full practice test. So taking a practice test has 2 advantages. One, you will understand what kind of questions are in Duolingo English test, and second, you can understand how much can you score on the real Duolingo English test, because in the practice test you will be given an estimated scores. As you guys can see, my recent practice test, in my recent practice test I've scored 130 to 140, and I've uploaded the complete video on YouTube. You can go and watch it. And on the real test I've scored 135. So from the practice test you can understand your scoring area, your scoring range, and then you can prepare yourself and you can understand how much you can score on the real Duolingo English test. That's why tip number 1, my tip number 1 for you will be to familiarize yourself with the test format enough. And one more thing is to understand the question types, that what kind of questions will be in the Duolingo English test. And for that I have made a complete and a thorough video regarding that topic. So this video is right here, where I have explained all the question types which you will face in the Duolingo English test. So just go and watch that video as well. Alright, and my tip number 2 will be to prepare yourself for the test before going for the actual test. And the reason why I'm saying this is the majority of people don't really prepare themselves completely for the test, and they just go and take the test, which is really bad. Taking the practice tests is not sufficient enough for preparing for the Duolingo English test, and that's why I think you have to prepare yourself completely. And if you don't know how to prepare for the Duolingo English test, then I have made this video where I have told you guys to how can you prepare for the Duolingo English test within 7 days. And I'm going to make a complete video on I'm gonna make a complete video where I will be telling you guys that how you can prepare for the Duolingo English test in 30 days. And I guess if you want to score high and at 130 plus on Duolingo, then it is essential to prepare for at least 30 days rather than just for 7 days. So prepare yourself for the test before going for the actual test, and that's what helped me to score 135 plus. Tip number 3, and this if your goal is to score higher on Duolingo English test, then you must follow this strategy, which is use idioms and advanced vocabulary. Especially in your writing and speaking sections, you must at least use 3 to 5 idioms in each section. And instead of using simple vocabulary, basic vocabulary, you have to use advanced vocabulary. For example, instead of saying uh, very boring, you have to say tedious. Instead of saying very simple, you have to say basic. Instead of saying very smooth, you have to say sleek. Instead of saying very slow, you have to say sluggish. Instead of saying very busy, you have to say overloaded. Instead of saying very crowded, you have to say bustling. So in order to score higher on Duolingo English Test, you have to use advanced vocabulary and idioms. All right. Strategy number 4 is memorize answers structures, uh, and that will help you score higher on Duolingo English Test. And what I mean by this is particularly for your uh, speaking section where you have to describe a photo. So you have to, instead of saying like firstly, secondly, thirdly, and last, instead of saying firstly, you have to say to begin with. Instead of saying secondly, you have to say in addition. Instead of saying thirdly, you have to say furthermore. And instead of saying last, at the last, or in the last, you have to say to sum it up, in conclusion, and these kind of stuff. And also when you are describing photo, you have to start with the statement like, from my point of view, as far as I'm concerned, in these kind of structures. And the best way to learn these kind of answer structures for the Duolingo English Test, you have to go and search on YouTube. And my personal recommendation will be Teacher Look videos. He has made some great videos about it, and this is not sponsored. And the tip number 5, and the final tip, will be to answer for longer time, use complex vocabulary and complex grammar for high scores. And if you go to, if you search the Duolingo scoring criteria, then these 3 factors are mentioned there. If you want to score higher, first you have to answer for longer time. So in the writing sections, you have to write for 3 minutes and 5 minutes. In the speaking section, you have to speak for longer time, and use complex words, which means use advanced words, use advanced vocabulary, and use complex grammar, which means instead of using active voice, you have to use the passive voice. Instead of using simple sentences, you have to use complex and compound sentences, and this will help you score high on Duolingo English Test. So those were my top 5 strategies which I have used personally to score 135 on Duolingo English Test. And if you're taking Duolingo English Test exam anytime soon, so break a leg, good luck for that. And if this video is if you have found this video helpful, drop a like, subscribe for more videos like this one, and also for the Q&A video, drop your questions in the comments, and I'll try to answer them in the Q&A video. So I'll see you guys there, and goodbye.